So, Rootpaw can act like a big baby. And yeah, it's really easy to joke about him. But I legitimately find Rootpaw to be one of the much more convincing characters in Warrior Cats. Warrior Cats has quite a large amount of child characters. There's no getting around them. And my personal opinion is that when you deal with characters of younger age, you have to make them stupid and emotional. The moment you make them too well put together or too dark and serious, they just completely fall apart. I want to be able to believe the character is a child. If we're going to be seeing a character grow from a child into an adult, we should really be seeing some significant emotional growth, because that's what happens when you're young. That's why I really like Jayfeather. He, more than any cat, embodies the transformation from a bratty little child into a mature and self-aware adult. And I think Rootpaw is quickly shaping up to be right next to Jayfeather in terms of being a whiny child. I know that's not a good thing for a lot of people, but for me, it just makes Rootpaw feel much more real. All three of the new Broken Code protagonists are primarily concerned with proving their worth. Bristlefrost runs into problems with falling short in terms of luck, and Shadowpaw runs into problems by listening to the wrong voice. But in the end, they are both on track to win the respect of their clans. Shadowpaw will be a great medicine cat, and it is undeniable that Bristlefrost is greatly talented. But Rootpaw, he just sort of is what he is. His largest desires are being a great warrior and winning Bristlefrost's affection, both of which are really not working out for him. He does share a tree's special power of communicating with ghost cats, but that will surely end up being something that he doesn't want. A power that ultimately just puts too much stress on him, very similar to Dovewing in Omen of the Stars. So what I see with Rootpaw is just a very strong story about growing up and finding your place. Having crazy expectations and dreams, but ultimately facing reality. But before we go into where Rootpaw is headed, we absolutely need to look at Bristlefrost, because she plays such a critical role in his development, as she is the object of his affection, and her own struggles in Lost Stars will certainly have some parallels to future struggles for Rootpaw. Bristlefrost's story in Lost Stars is honestly pretty simple. She's a big dreamer, and her dreams fall short. She has this set plan in her mind. Become a warrior, get together with this amazing Stemleaf guy who she's been friends with her entire life, be the best pair of warriors in ThunderClan, probably have kids at some point. You get the picture. Bristlefrost has this perfect life in her mind, but reality just smacks her in the face. The super harsh winter makes her fail her first assessment. Then, when she finally passes her assessment on the second try, she makes a complete fool of herself by dumping all her emotions on Stemleaf, who, as it turns out, never felt love towards her. It's just loss after loss. But Bristlefrost turns out to be very adaptable, and she feels much better about herself by the time the book is concluded. I feel that Rootpaw is in for a very similar emotional journey, except his reality is considerably more sad. Lost Stars makes it very clear that Rootpaw views himself as an outsider. He is heavily conflicted with the fact that he doesn't quite meet what is expected of a warrior, and that fuels his insecurities to the point where he is socially impaired. On an emotional level, Rootpaw is very much a teenager, getting embarrassed over everything, feeling like he doesn't fit in, wanting to distance himself from his father, and developing a serious crush. I feel like his character really digs in to the emotional trauma of teenage years in a way that hasn't been done before in Warrior Cats. Specifically, Rootpaw shows us the struggles of social anxiety. In their teenage years, people are desperate to build relationships outside of their families, and that task can be significantly more difficult with anxiety. Rootpaw has it really hard. Kitepaw and Turtlepaw's teasing isn't inherently harmful, But because Rootpaw is so desperate to fit in and be friends with them, the teasing does cause damage. Rootpaw believes what they say. When Turtlepaw and Kitepaw say that Tree is weird, he internalizes that belief. Rootpaw's decision of wanting nothing to do with his father is entirely rooted in insecurity and in wanting to be accepted for who he is. And when Tree does weird things like scaring kids and randomly staring into space, it strengthens Rootpaw's beliefs. So, Bristlefrost is where things get interesting, because all she really does is show Rootpaw some basic kindness and bravery, and it turns his whole life around. This is where we really see how damaged and desperate the young cat is. He spent his entire life trying to be friends with Turtlepaw and Kitepaw, and they are only barely warming up to him because he caught a crow. Rootpaw never had comfort in that friendship. Meanwhile, Rootpaw didn't have to do anything for Bristlepaw for her to show care for him while he healed. At the gathering, Rootpaw approaches Bristlepaw, hoping to hold on to what they shared, but his social skills just aren't there. He offers to hunt for her, which just makes things awkward because they're from different clans, and then after she rejects that offer, he just does it anyway, and the result is the most painful embarrassment. But honestly, this full scene really spoke to me, and more than anything else, it really shows what Rootpaw is all about. He ignores clan boundaries and accepts the risk of such a huge gesture, just because one cat was nice to him. He's so socially deprived that he does all this for simple companionship, and he's so socially inept that he thinks Bristlefrost will react positively to this. But she doesn't, of course. Rootpaw is so sad and alone that he mistakes Bristlefrost's simple kindness for her wanting to be in a relationship with him. He's just not familiar enough with relationships to think it through completely. It's just so harsh. To care about something so much just for the whole situation to be a complete misconception. It is horrible. When I was younger, I had such a hard time making friends because I wasn't athletic or charismatic, and when I did have friends, I would always have trouble keeping them because I would always feel so afraid and awkward around them, flipping between overexposing myself and shutting off completely, getting way too emotional because I was so deeply aware of how literally anything can change their opinions on me. Rootpaw reminds me of that struggle. Social anxiety is the worst. Rootpaw might be wrong in caring so much for Bristlefrost, but I can fully understand why he feels the way he does. There is a level of desperation that arises when you feel that lonely. Now, Bristlefrost does apologize to Rootpaw by the end of the book for being rude when receiving the vole. In addition, there is some serious ship teasing, including a look of affection in Bristlefrost's eyes, and clear confirmation that Rootpaw wishes they could be together. It's hard to tell exactly how it will all play out, but rejection will probably be involved. First of all, Bristlefrost will feel uneasy about getting together because of all the code-breaking hate spreading around. And additionally, I think the writing team is going to go for a parallel to Bristlefrost being rejected by Stemleaf. Bristlefrost will learn how it feels to be on the other side of rejection, and she will realize that she has no reason to be upset over losing Stemleaf. And she'll hopefully pass this lesson on to Rootpaw that chasing after mates is pointless, and it's much better just valuing kindness as it is. Not as a bridge to a greater reward, but as a simple light that can be shared for the sole purpose of brightening up someone's day. Rootpaw is a mess. He is very anxious and emotional. As a cat who is supposed to be training to be a warrior, and as a cat who is male, these emotions make him stick out in the face of Sky Clan. Kitepaw and Turtlepaw, and honestly, the entire Warriors fandom, just think it's absolutely hilarious. so Turtlepaw and Kitepaw made fun of him. And as a result, Rootpaw found himself falling deeper and deeper into being more and more aware of himself. He started worrying more and more about how his warrior skills compared to others, and how negative thoughts towards his father carried over to him. Bristlefrost changed everything for him with her kindness, and in many ways, she became a role model to him. And we can't forget about Shadowpaw, who, in a single chat, showed Rootpaw that he wasn't the only cat who felt like an outsider. When Rootpaw discovers that he has the same powers as his father, it is absolutely certain that he will freak out and feel more alone. But kindness will save him. Shadowpaw will bond with him as another cat feeling isolated by special powers, and Bristlefrost is just really understanding of Rootpaw's emotional struggles. They're both great cats. Rootpaw's in a bad place. As he becomes an adult, things really won't go as he wants them to. He's really lucky to have Bristlefrost and Shadowpaw